All right, what's going on, you guys? Justin Peters here. I'm getting ready tonight for a brutal endeavor that I have tomorrow morning. It is the infamous FTP test, which stands for functional threshold power on the cycle right here. So I got my bike on there. This is on the trainer, and I'll be setting it up with Zwift, which is kind of an online program that will connect to the trainer. The FTP test is 20 minutes, basically with the top power that you can hold during that 20 minutes. So it gets very intense. The last 10 minutes are very dark, and it is a notorious test. And so I'm gonna be using Utopia tomorrow to get me focused, to get me in the zone, and especially for that second half of the test where you're really locking in and you're deep in the pain cave. And Utopia is gonna help me kind of push through and hopefully get a score that I'm happy with. So that's what's going on tomorrow morning. I'm looking forward to sharing my stack with you guys and maybe some insight on how I'm going to go into this mentally. So FTP test tomorrow morning on the trainer. Look forward to seeing you guys again then. Good morning, everyone. Just after 6 a.m. here, and slept good, got some good sleep. So I'm putting together a little drink right now. I'm looking to do this Utopia test at 7, so I have a little bit of time. I'm gonna do some mobility, some light stretching, a little movement just to get my body and joints prepared as I sip this Utopia drink. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm putting in here. All right, so here's the stack that I added to this 32-ounce mason jar full of filtered water. I did 1 tube of the power solution. So power solution is probably Utopia's most potent formula that they offer. This is gonna be a very intense test, but it's only 20 minutes long, so I decided to break out the big guns. 1 tube of the power solution. I took 2 of the cardio caps. These are amazing at improving blood flow as well as work capacity, so I took 2 of those. Smart Beats, this is a nitric oxide precursor, so as a vasodilator, improves blood flow, opens up the blood vessels. It's beetroot powder as well as watermelon juice, so I took 1 tube of that, placed it in there. And last but not least, this new boost. This is a nootropic potentiator, so it really enhances the effects of the Smart Beats, so I took 1 of those as well. I also placed a few other things inside there. I did 1 scoop of this Vitargo. This is a super carb. Obviously, this 20-minute effort is going to be very taxing on the glycogen system, so I wanted to top off my glycogen with a little extra for the muscles. I used the Heart and Warrior capsules from Heart and Soil. This is both liver and heart, regeneratively raised. This is Paul Saladino's company. I took 6 of these capsules. And last but not least, I placed 5 grams of creatine into this mason jar. And so the creatine is gonna help because obviously I'm dipping into the creatine phosphate system during this intense effort. So I wanted to make sure that that is topped off as well. So that's the stack that I'm going with. I'm gonna sip this over the next about 15 minutes while I stretch and just get ready and lock in. So see you on the other side. So there's one more thing that I wanted to share with you going into this FTP test is kind of what the strategy is. And I've done this a few times now. The first time I completely blew it. And the most important thing is just to not go out too hard in the first 10 minutes. So you kind of want to ramp up slowly over the course of the 20 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes you really go to a dark place and push as much as you possibly can. So the strategy is, kind of go in, there's like about a 15 or 20 minute warm up that Zwift, which is the kind of online system that I'm using to do this, that attaches to the trainer. They kind of have a built-in FTP test, so it kind of gives you a couple hard efforts, a couple easy efforts, and kind of warms you up before you actually start the test itself, which is nice. So I'm gonna be doing that, and then the 20 minutes starts. You hold a pace that you feel comfortable at, but that is burning a bit and a little intense. And then at that second 10 minutes, you really start to pick up the pace, you start to pick up the wattage and intensity. And then again, the final 5 minutes, you just empty the tank, everything that you have, and you should be kind of limping off the bike after the end of this test. So that's gonna be my strategy. Of course, it's always easier said than done. It's really difficult not to go out too hard in the beginning, but then again, this is always a fun opportunity to push yourself and see what you're made of. So looking forward to it, and we'll see you at the end. All right, just finished the FTP test. That was a brutal endeavor. I had music blaring, I was locked in. Went ahead and set a new FTP 274, which is good for me. My last FTP was 240 something, so I've improved a lot over the course of the last couple weeks, and I'm excited with that. Always room for improvement. Someone my size should have a higher FTP, but I'm relatively new to cycling, so I'll chalk it up as a win. Newtopia felt great, had me locked in. I think my heart rate averaged over 180, so there's definitely some cardiovascular support. Blood flow felt good, and vasodilation was obviously working well so that I could maintain that level of intensity. So chalk it up as a win, and I'll show you some of the recovery stack that I'm using to get my muscles back in shape. Obviously a ton of lactic acid was built up during that workout, so I'll take you through that process. All right, so here's what the recovery stack looks like. I'm unfortunately having to work right now, so I'm gonna be using the Theragun on my legs to help drive recovery, blood flow, and do a little percussion on the muscles themselves. I have a little bit left of the formulation that I made up earlier, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill this up with water, and then I'm gonna add one more scoop of the Vitargo Super Carb just to replenish glycogen. I have a leg workout later on tonight, so I wanna make sure that I replenish the glycogen so I can get the most out of that workout a little bit later. I'm gonna be adding some Kion essential amino acids. I love the essential amino acids versus your BCAAs. Typically, you don't want to do these around nootropics because they can actually blunt the effects of the nootropics, but I've gotten a pretty big dose with no protein earlier, so I'm going to throw some of these in because they're really crucial for recovery. So I'm throwing some essential amino acids into this mix when I fill it up. Some of the supplements that I'm taking along with this, that was a huge cortisol kind of boosting endeavor, 20 minutes all out. So I'm taking some ashwagandha that kind of helps blunt some of the effects of cortisol, which can be detrimental. The Bioptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough. This is an awesome magnesium supplement that has all the forms of magnesium that you could ever want in one. So I'm taking 2 capsules of that. I'm taking some vitamin D. This is 10,000 IU. This is a pretty hefty dose. It always is great to take that along with magnesium, but this is amazing for immunity benefits. And because I put my immune system under some pretty intense activity right there, I'm gonna take some vitamin D. And then this is Newtopia's new Adapt Plus formula. This has a couple of kind of recovery supplements in there, and it's just an all-around awesome kind of recovery supplement. So I'm gonna be taking that a little bit later this afternoon after work because this does make you a little bit relaxed, and I do have a full work day ahead of me. And last but not least, I love molecular hydrogen. This is something that I'll pop a couple tablets in some water, and it really helps kind of clear some of the oxidative stress that your muscles are creating under the load that we just went through. So I'll take a couple of these capsules, throw it in some water as well on the side, and I'll go ahead and drink that down. So that's what the recovery stack is looking like. Time to start work, everyone. So that was a little behind the scenes look into some of the supplements that I'm using during an intense exercise session like the FTP test. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. And if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and throw those in the comment section below. We're gonna be doing a lot more videos as this road to Ironman continues, and so I'm happy to share these videos with you guys. If there's anything you want to see in particular, just leave a comment, we'll try to address it, but also make sure you hit the like and subscribe button because again, we'll be dropping much more content like this in the near future. So thanks for coming along, you guys. Have an amazing day.